Hey everybody, and welcome back to our first week of game design in second quarter. We're going to try to keep things pretty simple this week and just do one small project, and we're not even starting from scratch. We're going to be opening a project that you already did or should have done last quarter and making a few changes to it. Now hopefully before you've even watched this, you've already watched this video here, Intro to Loops. If you haven't done that yet, you can pause this one and go back and click on this real quick. Now once you're done watching this video, we'll be jumping into Lab 2.1, so let's go see what's in there. So in Lab 2.1, Squares and Triangles Redux, we're going back in time, or at least back to a project that again, hopefully you've already done. The project that I'm talking about is this one right here, where we developed a program that drew different shapes depending on what button we pressed. So when I press the 1, I draw a square, or on 2, I draw a triangle. On 3 a diamond, on 4 a pentagon, and if you put in a little extra effort, you might have a few more shapes than that. So why are we revisiting an old program that we've already completed? Well, the truth is, there's better and more efficient ways to write this. If you already watched our first video, you should have an idea where this is going. We're going to be implementing loops to optimize our code. Now when we say optimize our code, there's really a couple of ways that we can think about optimization. One, it's easier for us to read and understand well-optimized code. And 2, the computer can execute our code more efficiently, meaning it should be executed more quickly, with less delay, and create a smoother user experience in the end. So let's take this and look at one piece of code at a time. Let's look at when we press the 1 key, how we draw our square. Well, you can see that we repeat the same functions over and over. We move 100, turn 90, move 100, turn 90, do it again, and we move 100 steps one more time. So while this last move 100 is slightly unique, the one thing that repeats 3 times in a row is moving 100 and then turning 90. So if I go to Control, I can find different blocks that will help me create different types of loops. Now many of you have already used forever blocks. And yes, you could put this inside of a forever block, and technically it would probably work, but it wouldn't exactly be efficient or what we want. Because even though you can't really see it at first, it continues to draw this square, and it might have an interesting result, but that's not really what we're after. So forever isn't going to cut it here. We want a more specific way of looping. So let's bring out a repeat, and by default, this is repeat 10, meaning it will repeat whatever is inside of this block 10 times. But I only want to repeat this 3 times. And again, I don't want to repeat the final move 100 or the save square over and over. But what I can do is instead of writing move 100, turn 90, move 100, turn 90, move 100, turn 90, I can take just one of those, tell it to repeat 3 times, and then complete the last bit of my code. So I've used a loop here amongst the rest of my script, and this is quicker and easier to write, easier to understand once you know what a loop is, and the computer should execute it faster than ever. Let's give it a try. There we go. Now we can repeat this process in a similar way with every shape that we have. So let's look at number 2, our triangle. Well, a triangle has 3 sides, and just like how a square has 4 sides, and we only really need a repeat of 3 to do this properly, since a triangle has 3 sides, we'll only need a repeat of 2 to do what we want here. So I'll detach this last move 100 and the say, bring out a repeat 10, change the 10 to a 2, get rid of my second move 100 and turn, and put 1 inside, piece this all back together. Let's give it a try. Looking good. I'll do one more and I'll let you figure out the rest on your own. So 3 is a diamond, and if you remember, we created our diamond by just copying and pasting our square code. The only change that we made to our square code, aside from saying diamond instead of square at the end, is adding a 45-degree turn at the beginning. Now this is another thing that we don't want to repeat. So I'll break that apart, and I'll also get rid of the last move and say. Once again, bring out my repeat, change the 10 to 3, just like we did with our square. We'll get rid of the extra movements that we don't need anymore, put this inside of our repeat, put it all back together, and let's try it again. There we go. The concept is simple once you understand it, and I think most of you will catch on to this very quickly. So this should be an easy step back into Snap and programming after the little break that we had. So go ahead and update the 3 that I showed you, and then continue on using your own skills and your own logic to create loops using your repeat blocks to optimize the code for all of the shapes that you already have. When you've got that done, I want you to go back to Lab 2.1 and look at the very bottom, where it says Adding More Shapes in Section 3. When the 7 key is pressed, I want to see if you can figure out how to do a decagon, a 10-sided polygon. And when the 8 key is pressed, how to draw a circle. Circle may sound confusing, but it's actually a lot easier than you think. So give it a shot and experiment. And remember to use loops to make these new shapes as efficient as possible. Now, with the work in Snap done, you're almost done. All you need to do then is come down to the comments section for this week. What I want you to do in your comment is define loop in your own words in terms of how it relates to computer science. Don't tell me about a loop on a roller coaster. So define loop in terms of computer science, and then do what hopefully you've done many times before. Go back to your Snap project, hit your little piece of paper, and go to Save As. Then select your project and click this Share button. Be sure to hit Yes, and then you can simply cancel out of this window and copy your URL up here. Remember, if you've done the share properly, you'll see the username and the project name listed, and your link will be a lot longer than it once was. Then bring that into your comment, and after your definition, paste your link. When you post that, you'll be done. All right, everybody. I hope you had a good break. Now that we're back at it, good luck and have fun.